Hey guys, yes, we're back again. So the CX500 the accelerator cable came a week earlier than I expected, so now that's up and running. Fixed all the vacuum leaks, all that stuff. Took it for a ride last night, and when I initially got the bike, it felt like it was a bit of a slug. Wasn't very fast at all. But now it pulls quite well. I mean, had no torque whatsoever before when it had the vacuum leak. Now it just seems to pull a lot better from lower revs, and it pulls all the way through the rev range. So it's only a 500. It's no R1 or CBR or whatever. But for what it is, for an old heavy bike from 1978, yeah, it's an old bike. It pulls okay. It's okay. Yeah, it does me. It'll get me into trouble, put it that way. Anyway, the 620. I have taken the back part of the exhaust off down there, and I'm about to start cutting it up for pie cuts. I've ordered a new straight through muffler for it. As I said the other week, I'm not sure if I want to do extractors for this. I could, but could be wasting my time because I don't know how long this engine's going to last, and it's not going to leave. I'm not going to leave a J series in it, put it that way. So I'm just going to open up the back part of the exhaust, get that running right. As much as I'd love to work on the 240Z this weekend, I'd like to finish that off. I'll see how I go for time, but my time is very limited. I want to get the exhaust done tomorrow. I'll go really hard at it. It's towards the end of Saturday today, so yeah. I've been training at the gym at night time, but I'm going to change that to morning sessions. So I might even get some time to come out here and spend an hour or so a night on my own cars. We'll see how I feel. It may happen, it may not. But alright, I'm going to go down the shed because I've got an hour or so to muck around before I have my evening meal, and I'm going to start cutting this exhaust ready to weld the 2-inch section on it, and I'll explain pie cuts. I'll explain how they work. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Well, I'm pretty keen. Not sure where in the video this bit will go, but everything I'm doing today on the 620 is almost a waste of time now, but I'm doing it anyway because time factor. I've picked up a new motor to run in the 620. Before you say anything, I know they're a shit motor, but I got it for next to nothing, and I got it with everything I need: ECU, gearbox, diff, the whole works and jerks, to just bolt it straight in my 620 and run it. The motor in question is, don't flame me, don't throw shit at me, CA20. Yes, I know they're not a very good motor. They're not a performance motor. They don't respond to mods, and if you do mod them, their rods break. But I'm going to leave it stock and run it until it dies, just like I was going to with the J15. J15's no better. They've got weak rods too, and they're not designed as a performance motor, but it's got about 30% more horsepower than what the J15 has, so that is enough to most likely get me into the low 40s, maybe even a 39, if I lighten the 620 up enough. So I've heard, I've seen people get into the 30s with less horsepower than what the CA puts out, so I am pretty keen to put it in. I'll run it until it dies, and then I might look around for a CA18 and put that in there, because they're a bloody strong little motor. They are a good motor. Alright, just thought I'd tell you that. Back to it. The CX500, the accelerator came accelerator cable came a week earlier than I expected, so now that's up and running. Fixed all the vacuum leaks, all that stuff. Took it for a ride last night, and when I initially got the bike, it felt like it was a bit of a slug. Wasn't very fast at all, but now it pulls quite well. I mean, had no torque whatsoever before when it had the vacuum leak. Now it just seems to pull a lot better from lower revs, and it pulls all the way through the rev range. So it's only a 500, it's no R1 or CBR or whatever, but for what it is, for an old heavy bike from 1978, yeah, it's an old bike. It pulls okay. It's okay. Yeah, it does me. It'd get me into trouble, put it that way. Anyway, the 620. I have taken the back part of the exhaust off down there, and I'm about to start cutting it up for pie cuts. I've ordered a new straight through muffler for it. As I said the other week, I'm not sure if I want to do extractors for this. I could, but could be wasting my time because I don't know how long this engine's going to last, and it's not going to leave. I'm not going to leave a J series in it, put it that way. So I'm just going to open up the back part of the exhaust, get that running right. As much as I'd love to work on the 240Z this weekend, I'd like to finish that off. I'll see how I go for time, but my time is very limited. I want to get the exhaust done tomorrow. I'll go really hard at it. It's towards the end of Saturday today, so yeah. I've been training at the gym at night time, but I'm going to change that to morning sessions. So I might even get some time to come out here and spend an hour or so a night on my own cars. We'll see how I feel. It may happen, it may not. But alright, I'm going to go down the shed because I've got an hour or so to muck around before I have my evening meal, and I'm going to start cutting this exhaust ready to weld the 2-inch section on it. And I'll explain pie cuts. I'll explain how they work. So yeah, stay tuned guys. We're going to get into it right now. Just waiting for my air compressor to fill up because I can't record in there while it's noisy. Thought I'd just share with you this little film clip that a friend of mine sent. He filmed me taking off from the start line at Collinggrove the other week. Sorry about the video quality. I think he recorded it on a potato, but yeah, you'll see how slow my car is and why it was 10 seconds behind everyone else. Yeah, so enjoy guys. Okay guys, we got the end of the exhaust flange here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it off about here and put it in my sandblasting cabinet and blast it up. So I've got nice clean metal to weld to, because I'm going to weld the 2-inch pipe to this. This is only like 1.5 inch or something like that, but I'm going to flange it down so I can weld it on. And then I'll start making the rest of the exhaust from there with pie cuts. Okay. Seriously, I think the sandblasting cabinet's probably one of the better purchases I've made. It looks like it's been coated with silver paint, but that's raw metal after being rusty and horrible. But don't go rush out and buy one if you don't have an air compressor big enough to power it, because you'll just get frustrated. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to cut off a short length of 2-inch now and shape it to be able to weld to this. Okay, as you can see, what I've done is taken the 2-inch pipe and I've put a slice in 4 spots the whole way around, and then I've tack welded it to the pipe and just hammered it down until it's flush the whole way around. Now I've got to weld it up. Bit of a redneck way of doing it. I could have got a reducer, but it's Saturday, nothing's open, and why not? It's gonna work. Okay, there we go, guys. Not too bad, doesn't look horrible. Cleaned it up all right, but that's going to be it for today, because I have to crawl under the car now and I don't have my shitty old work clothes on, and it's too late to be going changing into work clothes for a half an hour of playing with cars. So it's got to wait till tomorrow. So I'll see you then, guys. Okay, the hand's in the way so you can't see, but the pipe's down there. But as you can see, if you can see, hang on, it's pointing straight at the that rod there. So I'm going to have to make a pie cut just to kick it to the right a little bit. Or looking at it this way, kick it to the left a little bit. And yeah, then we should clear it. What I had to do is I had to massage it a little bit there just to get it to clear the gearbox. And I already cut it, but I cut it too short, as you can see, and I had to weld it back together. So that was my bad. So now I'm going to take it down. We're going to cut it off roughly there. And we'll do a pie cut from there. This is the piece of pipe that I'm cutting off to make into my pie cuts. I should hopefully get enough pie cuts out of this section to make my exhaust. So the first thing you got to do is you got to mark a line directly down the center of one side of your pipe. Luckily, the my old steel pipe has a join already down the center of one side, so I've only got to mark the other side. This is a 2-inch pipe. I'm working in millimeters, so it's 50.8 millimeters. So outside diameter, circumference, or whatever you want to call it, 16 centimeters. I've got it marked here on a piece of paper, 16 centimeters. So what you got to do is you've got to mark halfway from 16 centimeters, which is 8 centimeters, and then you grab it, line it up with the first line there, and you wrap it around the pipe. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and where the 8 centimeter mark is, that will be directly the opposite side of the first line, so that's half the pipe. So I've got to mark that on both ends. I'll do this right now off camera because I can't do it with one hand. Once you got it marked at both ends, you grab your straight edge and you trace a line straight down the center from one end to the other. Just like so. This will all become relevant in a minute. This here, guys, is a pie cut. What we've got is a 9-degree angle on both sides. Now if you take that 9-degree angle and you times it by 5, you get 45. If you times it by 10, you get 90. So that's how you get your accurate angles. You can do it with 15-degree angles, the same, times by 3, you get 45. Just means you need less pie cuts. Yeah, there's other angles you could use too, I guess, if you did the math, but this works for me. This is the way I go. So Benefits of pie cuts, they are going to be the same diameter the whole way around, especially if you do more narrow pie cuts. One thing is they take a lot longer than using mandrel bends. They can look really cool, particularly if you use titanium, so you get that nice bluey effect. Another name for them is lobster bends, because they look a bit like a lobster tail. Anyway, I'm going to make another pie cut and I'll run you through how I did it. There are different methods. I'm just using, didn't want it anyway. I'm just using my old saw. It's not very accurate, but it's what I've got for now. Okay, I'll set you up so you can see it. So this is the reason why I put the stripes on, because every time you make a new pie cut you have to rotate the tube 180 degrees. So that's my first line down the middle, which was already put there by the factory who made it. So now I've just got to loosen off the clamp and drop it on the ground, because that's part of the process. You must do that, otherwise it won't work. And then you pick it up and you put it back in. So there's the line I drew. You put it in the correct way as well, which might help. So what I do from here is I just drop the saw blade down without starting it. This is awkward because you're in the way. And I just drop the saw blade directly on that line. That'll hold it there. And I've got, wait a moment, I've got this stopper here so I can make the same pie cut the same length every time. So I just push that in all the way. I've got it roughly 10 mil down the shortest distance of the pie cut. Okay, that's center. Well, it was. Right there. And you tighten your clamp up. And you're ready to cut. Now you can use a drop saw as well, particularly with a cold cut saw blade. This is not a very accurate bandsaw. It wobbles all over the place. I'll get a better one day, or I'll get a cold cut saw blade for my drop saw. But always use a bit of WD so it doesn't bind up. And there you have it, there's another pie cut. And as you can see, if you put them together, you're starting to get a bit of a bend happening, like so. Now the lesser distance that you make your pie cut, the smoother that bend is going to be. Okay, so I've just taken it down to, or up to the car, and I've held it up to the manifold to get the right angle on where I need to face this pie cut. And then I've just marked it with my Sharpie on both sides, so I can get it in the right spot. Now, what I'm going to do is tack weld it in spot. This first exhaust pipe's a little bit out of round because of me hammering it. So I'll do the best I can with this. Joint mightn't be the prettiest. Just plug my welder in. The key is to not use any filler if you don't have to, because that creates weld build up on the inside and it disrupts your exhaust flow. There. Okay, that's one side. You've got to make sure you have it hard up against. I'll put my gloves on so I don't burn myself. You want no gaps. Where is my glove? Over there. Helps if I turn my gas on the welder. Okay. I just blew a big hole because of that gas and now I can't get it to sit right. It's getting hot. Okay, that was a fail. It's not that bad. Well, I should be able to save it. It's not too bad. I'll only use very minor amounts of filler rod. Problem is it's out of round, and as soon as you start getting an edge, it's so easy to burn that edge away. So yeah, all right. The next one will be a lot better, I promise. I hope, I promise. Well, I kind of saved it. I had to add in a little bit of filler there where I blew the hole, but the inside's nice and flush. So yeah, no great loss. At the end of the day, it would have been much neater weld if it was stainless. You can wire wheel it up to make it look better. But I'm probably going to paint it black anyway, so yeah. If we put the other pie cut on, you can see how it's starting to hook around. Okay, I'm going to go see how this fits. How far did I get? Don't know if you can see down there. I haven't welded them all up yet, they're just tacked together. I've got all the way under there, and then dumped down to there, and I got to there. Now it occurred to me that if I go any further than that, I'm probably not going to be able to get the exhaust out to weld it all up. So I'm going to get a slip joint and cut it in the middle of this pipe here so I can join it together and remove the back half. And yeah, so I don't have one of those today, and the day is pretty much done, so I'm going to get that during the week, and then I'll finish it off during the week or next weekend. Oh, that's exhausting. So I think I've walked from this shed here down to my other shed enough times to have almost walked across Australia. I can't see from my glasses because they're so dirty with grease and sweat. Yeah, so I'm done for the day. Yeah, I'll see you next weekend, guys. Have a good one.